Here we are at Immune with a little course on basic biology, getting to the core of most people's problems in healthcare, which is obesity, depression, and these other type of health problems, heart disease, and etc., etc. And they have their basic origin in lifestyle abuse as a child. We have to start talking about who are the enemies to health. And this is what we drill into you over and over again at Immune, and here's just another video to really echo this. That high glycemic white sugar creates surges of high blood sugar followed by low blood sugar. First you get hyperglycemia followed by hypoglycemia. When you get that excess of sugar, it damages different parts of the circulatory system, including veins, capillaries, and even arteries, creating scarring. If you look at what happens to a diabetic, we can see what that extra sugar does in long contact, but there's small effects that happen even just by having one very, very large chocolate bar. One chocolate bar can create such a surge that it can create damage in the circulatory system that won't be seen later until maybe 40, 50 years later with a heart attack or some other problem. So we have to try to look at some of the different ideas of what are the enemies. And if we look at the effects of the antibiotics on the entire synthetic drug culture, because to use a synthetic anything is an insult to the body. And if we start doing that insult to the body and setting up dynamics where the body doesn't take care of itself, but the body depends on outside intervention, then we have hurt the body. We have to get to the idea about the high glycemic foods are doing, and the dangers of the white sugars and the white flours and the processed foods, combined with the synthetics. We have to take a look at the damage that is often done by iatrogenic disease and these different drugs. We have to look at the idea of what smoking does. The dramatic, incredible effects of the #1 killer on the planet, the cigarette smoke, and how these companies that sell these things go rampant. The effects of what's happening from petrochemicals and insecticides and a chemical regime that's just gone crazy. We have to be able to look at those different things. And when we see that those things can not only affect the circulatory system, creating a stroke risk and heart attack risk and other things in the future, we also see how they destroy the bowel flora. And when they destroy the bowel flora, that produces another problem where we don't get the proper utilization of our B vitamins and other different nutrition that we need to absorb with the help of good bacteria in the bowel. And now we have a host of other depression, emotional problems, impulse control, anger management, and a host of other things that are being developed because we have upset the apple cart with antibiotic sugar and a host of other things into the bowel flora. Now we're going to watch a little video to understand more about this bowel flora.
The advice you're following is based on proven facts so that you avoid continued disappointment. With that being said, listen closely to what my good friend, fat loss expert, and international best-selling weight loss author Kyle Leon will now share, because it will be the most important fat loss information you ever hear. Kyle will be sharing what new research proves to be the single element responsible for the epidemic of Western weight gain, your body's inability to burn fat, and over 170 different diseases.
Thank you, John. Hi, let's get right into the vital information you need to know. Newest research proves that virtually everything to do with weight gain and fat loss is directly related to what the medical community refers to as our second brain, or our GI tract. Your GI tract is home to your immune system and contains trillions of living bacteria. And believe it or not, science has recently proven that this bacteria is in control of virtually everything to do with your metabolism and your overall health. Now, everyone has a certain percentage of good bacteria, commonly referred to as probiotic, and a percentage of bad bacteria, known as pathogenic. The natural balance of good bacteria to bad bacteria in healthy people with efficient fat-burning metabolisms is 85% good to 15% bad. You know these types of people. They're the people that can seem to eat anything and always stay lean. Now, the following fact may be hard to swallow, so be ready. Science has recently discovered that virtually all overweight men and women have an excess of pathogenic bacteria and too little probiotic bacteria. And here's why that's very bad news. For starters, the excess pathogenic bacteria flat out cripples your metabolism. It quite literally hijacks and destroys your fat-burning hormones while sending your fat-storing hormones through the roof. This alone makes it impossible to burn fat and results in even the healthy food you're eating being turned into the unsightly flab you're so desperately trying to rid yourself of. And if you've ever felt like you're gaining weight even when you're eating next to nothing, this is, in all likelihood, the exact reason why. What's more is that you're hungrier than you should be and for all of the wrong foods. And the reason why is quite startling. You see, the metabolism-slowing bad bacteria actually reprograms your taste buds and your brain to crave all of the foods that it needs to multiply. Yes, you heard that correctly. The bad bacteria in your gut is using your body as a restaurant and is quite literally making you crave the food that it wants and needs. And the more bad bacteria you have, the more cravings you get for all of the wrong foods. Foods that are literally feeding your bad bacteria and allowing them to multiply uncontrollably. Sugar is at the top of this list that your bad bacteria devours and multiplies on. If you've ever done that experiment in high school science class where you pour sugar on a petri dish in order to grow bacteria, that's exactly what's happening in your stomach right now. And unfortunately, multiple studies now prove artificial sweeteners to be even worse than sugar for fueling your bad bacteria and allowing it to terrorize your metabolism and your immune system. And even with the millions of dollars they have, the massive money-hungry food manufacturers will not be able to keep truths like this hidden for much longer. Truths that help explain why in the zero-calorie, diet soda age, the Western world is heavier and sicker than ever. There are also some other very surprising foods that you may think are healthy that are actually causing your fat-storing bacteria to flourish as well. Even some vegetables that we'll touch on shortly. Now, as odd as it sounds, the reality is every piece of food you eat feeds either your good bacteria or your bad bacteria before it even has a chance to nourish you. You're unknowingly experiencing an inner battle between your good and bad bacteria with each and every meal you consume. And your nutrition is vital in order to maintain the ideal ratio of good to bad bacteria, which is now being recognized as the single most important factor for being able to experience healthy, long-term weight loss. Unfortunately, in the modern Western diet that's dominated by processed, sugar-laden foods and chemicals that you're exposed to on a daily basis, a playground has been created for your fat-storing pathogenic bacteria to flourish uncontrollably. And we can't forget to mention what is one of the worst obesity-causing pathogenic bacteria multipliers of all: antibiotics. Study after study proves the rate of obesity to be rising parallel to the use of antibiotics because of this. Heck, farmers figured this out long ago when they realized they just have to pump their livestock full of antibiotics in order to fatten them up like crazy. These antibiotics fed to livestock, of course, end up finding their way into your GI tract, allowing your bad bacteria to flourish even more. And when your fat-storing, health-derailing bacteria is flourishing, it's not just a weight loss nightmare. It also kills your energy, focus, and immune system and leaves you feeling sluggish and extremely susceptible to sickness. As a matter of fact, science has directly linked over 170 different diseases to pathogenic bacteria imbalance. You see, in addition to struggling with your weight, other telltale signs you're suffering from this imbalance include, but are not limited to, gas, bloating, indigestion, constipation, IBS or diarrhea, acid reflux, frequent headaches, anxiety, trouble sleeping, low energy, and sugar cravings. And as if suffering from a fat-storing metabolism, hunger cravings, a damaged immune system, and feeling sick and tired all of the time isn't bad enough, it gets worse for women. Much worse. Doctors Caroline Dean and William Crook, in their recent book, The Yeast Connection and Women's Health, hit the nail on the head when referring to pathogenic bacteria in these terms. The number of women suffering in silence, not even knowing what is really wrong, and blaming themselves for failing is, I believe, literally numbered in the millions. Millions of women who can't lose weight and have no idea why. And as if this isn't bad enough, science has discovered that if you're experiencing this bacterial imbalance when you become pregnant, it's passed on to your child, resulting in your baby inheriting the same weight gain and health battles that you're fighting right now, along with being more prone to developmental disorders unless your imbalance is corrected first. It's like the studies that prove when a healthy, lean mouse is injected with pathogenic bacteria from an unhealthy fat mouse, it becomes fat and sick in no time. Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride, a world-leading medical authority in gut bacteria research, expresses this concern for women best when she says, "Mothers of my generation who have daughters who are growing up now is the time to assess your daughter, see what her gut flora is like. How is she doing before she's ready to conceive or have children? Prepare them for it to avoid the huge amount of grief in the family of having a grandchild with autism, hyperactivity, obsessive-compulsive disorder, or some other disorder." The truth is, you've either been born into this bacterial imbalance or you're a victim of the modern Western environment that causes it. Either way, your struggle with your weight gain to this point is certainly not your fault. You see, your bacterial imbalance is the true reason why you're suffering with a slow, fat-storing metabolism, and nothing will work until it's corrected. And we're very excited to let you know there's a simple, breakthrough solution to kill off your excess fat-storing bacteria while completely resetting your GI tract to nature's intended balance. A balance dominated by your healthy, fat-burning bacteria. A balance that allows you to experience the fast, fat-burning metabolism, energy levels, vitality, and health that nature has always intended for you. Just for a second, picture how much leaner your stomach is and how amazing it feels when your body is no longer plagued by the very real fat-storing toxic state that it's in right now. I'd like to introduce you to our third panel member to show you exactly how you can make this your reality today. This gentleman has not only helped transform thousands of good folks around the world with his best-selling weight loss books, but he's a recognized authority in gut bacteria research. His name is Brad Pilon.
Thank you, Kyle. It's my great pleasure to now turn our presentation towards what is the only way that's ever been discovered to successfully destroy your excess pathogenic bacteria while multiplying your fat-burning probiotic bacteria. I'm referring to a breakthrough solution called microbiologic rebalancing. Microbiologic rebalancing consists of unusual yet extremely effective nutrition strategies that are the key to correcting your bacterial imbalance and creating a healthy, fat-burning metabolism and lifelong weight loss. These are the totally unique strategies this panel uses to help countless thousands of men and women experience rapid, long-term, and life-changing fat loss when absolutely nothing else works. Microbiologic rebalancing is the cornerstone of what is quite simply the most powerful, natural, fat-burning system this panel has ever seen, designed, or been a part of. Remember, everything you've been doing up until now has not worked, and now you know why. And although it hasn't been your fault, continuing on such a path will inevitably lead you to even more frustration and greater despair as the weeks pass by and your struggle with your weight gain worsens. This will continue to negatively affect everything in your life, from your health to your relationships with your family, friends, and even all the way down to the vacations you choose and the clothes you wear. And as a woman, remember the very real danger of passing your suffering onto your unborn child. None of this is what we want for you, and we know this is not what you desire for yourself.
You are what you eat, and if you eat junk food, you'll have a junk body. This is the basic dictum. See, if you eat good food, you'll make good cells and have a good body. Every 2 to 4 weeks, your skin replaces yourself, your liver, taste buds. Over a period of time, everything becomes new out of what you take in. So you are definitely what you eat. This is a basic dictum. But not just what you eat, you are what you absorb. This is even more important. We teach this in our books about the fossil lab procedure. You are not just what you eat, you are what you absorb. And there are problems inside the small and large intestine that create a problem. You can read the books about this, and this is basically, we have people with big belly problems for a reason. Inside the cells, there's an accumulation of different problems and a swelling of the tissue. The belly should be just one width of the hand from the belly button to the sides. If it's longer and bigger than that, that means that your small intestine is distorted and distended, enlarged. If you have an enlarged liver or any other enlarged part of the body, it's a problem. It's also a problem in the gut. Now, this bowel bacteria can live in there and cause this swelling. You can have bad bowel bacteria. If you have too much bad bowel bacteria, it will produce farting. It will produce rectal gas. You should fart 14 times a day, but that's really too much. That's a symptom that you have too much bad bowel bacteria. If you have good, healthy bowel bacteria, you should fart once or twice a day. And if you have bad bowel bacteria, as we've been discussing, it will create a problem. Here we see a healthy belly, that healthy distance between the navel and the side, 1 hand width. That's what we really need. And if we start looking at all of the different beautiful people, we see that the beautiful people don't eat the shit and junk food. They have to watch their diet and exercise. They don't eat the junk food. That's how they become beautiful and stay fit. Their diet is very important. And there's lots of different research that's shown that our machine can also help with bacteria, that we can also help to balance the bowel flora. But we also need to pay more attention, and I have developed a diet to be able to help you. A diet to be able to help with the gut dysbiosis, or the accumulation of bad bowel bacteria. All the different research that's led up to this, and you can get this in our books to learn an awful lot more. And the eductor can really help people with this. But now let's get into the different types of the aspects of the diet and just what we're going to do. We have to start with the idea to avoid synthetic foods, high glycemic foods, processed foods, white sugars, all foods boiled in oil, and avoid the hot dogs and the nitrates and all those different meats put together like that. They will feed the bad bowel bacteria and create more problems. To kill the bowel bacteria, we're going to use this formula here of the oregano, grapefruit seed oil, tea tree oil, and tomato juice, prunes, and a cup of garlic, echinacea, golden seal tea. This will really help clean out the body and clean out those things. So you can do colonics during this first week or two, but don't overdo colonics, because if you get dependent on it, it will create the same problem. You want to cleanse your colon naturally and help to reestablish healthy bowel flora. For that first week, we want to take honey before bed, because this will kill those bad bowel bacteria and good bacteria. Overcook the foods for that first week, overcook those vegetables to help minimize the amount of struggle your digestive system has. Use overcooked foods. Cooked eggs, hard-boiled eggs, have also been proven helpful at this state, as is cabbage juice, but make it dilute as possible. And we want to also use ginger tea and a host of other different teas during the first week to clean out all of that bad bacteria and to minimize the stress and tension on the intestines so that we can clean them out. These different foods, turmeric, beets, papaya, lemon, ginger, chia, all of this can be very helpful. And the tea tree oil mixed in with a little bit of the different teas can also be helpful. Now we've been able to prove this, and the skio can also help detox. And I've written a whole book about juicing. But the key is that most of the juices you buy are too strong. They need to be diluted. Now, after we've done this week, we've cleansed. Now we want to go into a probiotic and first a prebiotic. The prebiotic foods, they're going to help set the stage for the beneficial bacteria. Cabbage, chicory, onions, garlic, bananas, lentils, legumes. All of what you see here, especially kimchi, sauerkraut, these are all very good prebiotic foods. And now we bring these slowly back into the diet to help the body. And if we bring them in too fast, we might get gas. Then we could switch to the probiotics, which are going to be supplying the healthy, good quality bacteria. Now, Jesus said he had a different idea about nutrition, because Jesus said it's not what goes into the mouth that defiles a person, but what comes out. That's also another idea about this. Yoga can be very helpful, as is exercise. But as we set the stage and go to prebiotic and probiotic, we can start to really learn more about establishing a good, healthy type of idea, using veggie burgers, not that junk food, making sure we get good, healthy foods. And you shouldn't have to be rich to buy these things. And eating good vegetables does help build up your immune system. There are lots and lots of benefits, and foods can be a slow poison or your best medicine. You have to understand learning how to eat and how to eat properly. So with this little bit of advice given to you, and what we will see is after we cleaned up that bowel, we will be getting much more B vitamins. Everything will start to work better as the magic of the small and large intestine will increase. Nutrition will increase, everything will increase, and we will now start to eliminate depression, dementia, diarrhea, all the different types of mental diseases, all the different types of other problems, cardiovascular problems, as most of the different problems that exist today are centered in that bad bowel. We clean up that bowel, put in good bacteria, and we can be slim and trim, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And this is some of the advice for you. Desiree Dubonnet.
This program is really good. I fully recommend it, and I'd like you to consider the Flat Belly Forever program.
I'd like to introduce you to Flat Belly Forever. Flat Belly Forever is the first and only weight loss plan proven to deliver a dramatically faster, healthier, fat-burning metabolism by rebalancing your gut bacteria for long-term, enjoyable fat loss without tasteless diet foods or any cardio whatsoever. Flat Belly Forever will work for you even if you have the absolute worst genetics in the world, a terrible metabolism, a thyroid condition, or even if you think you've tried everything, just like it does for all of this panel's most overweight and genetically challenged clients. Correct this condition you've been plagued with and enjoy the same weight loss success thousands of others like you already have that have come before you. Imagine how empowering it feels to finally be in complete control of your weight loss and how capable you are when you are alive, vibrant, healthy, and full of energy. And imagine how satisfying it is to know the food you're eating that used to make you gain weight is now being used by your metabolism as fuel to accelerate your weight loss. Just picture how amazing it feels to wake up to see your belly vanishing in the bathroom mirror each morning. And how good you look wearing the clothes you've always wanted to wear because now they fit the way you've always wanted them to fit. Your new health and self-confidence improves every relationship you have, the decisions you make, and even the opportunities that now come your way. It's time to make this your reality. Unlock your full fat-burning potential and claim your new metabolism, your new life, and your new healthy future right now.
These books and this whole procedure with the Flat Belly Forever, this is really a good program. You should really look into it. You should look into our books and look into all the different ideas, how we can get the small intestine down to the proper size with probiotics. Now let's listen to a testimonial about the quantum biofeedback system rebuilding the heart.
My partner's father, who is 76, for 2 years ago was in very bad shape. He suffered from 6 heart attacks, but his EKG in Poland was showing always 6 scars on his heart. 2 years ago, we started him on quantum biofeedback sessions and got him on Cardio for Life. 1 year ago, in May of 2013, during regular checkups, his cardiologist asked him to come the next day because he was reading only 2 scars. Next day, on a different EKG machine, they received the same picture, only 2 scars on his heart. They held him for 3 weeks in a clinic for observation, and they ran EKG and all other tests. They wanted to know what kind of medicines he was taking to have only 2 scars. As everyone knows, heart tissue cannot heal. So we know that part of it was the quantum biofeedback. Repair of heart scar tissue is not a medical vocabulary. They deny its possibility. You saved lives you even have no idea about, and they were from Poland.
Yes, the doctors have too long been owned by the cigarette companies, owned by the drug companies, and they've been licensed to kill. And the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse: sugar, tobacco, oil, and pharma.
What we've just seen is a perfect example of how we change our entire culture. And before the entire culture changes, you should start changing your own home and what you feed your children, what you feed yourself, and start to recognize that prevention is worthwhile. An ounce of prevention truly is worth a pound of cure. And if we start looking at food is your medicine, and start trying to find out just how to be the best that you can be, start looking for that peak performance. Just a small change in the diet, within a week or two, you adapt to the new flavors. The whole thing that happened in New York when they made trans fats illegal, everybody yelled and screamed, but within 2-3 weeks, they just developed a new palate, and they no longer now like those trans fats. Now they like the more healthy fats. This is what the body will do. You can become addicted, you can become habitual into a diet, but then you can just make a new habit and a new pattern if you start getting into healthy foods. And our entire culture is designed to try to charge you more for healthy foods, but that shouldn't be the way. If you understand what it takes to grow a cow in Argentina, transport them, freeze them, to make that burger for you from McDonald's, it's much, much more expensive than what they can grow the grains in the backyard, right there in the city that you're in, nearby, to be able to make enough grain to give you a good veggie burger, and with proper technology and soy sauce and etc., they can capture a complete flavor. And McDonald's could make that hamburger much, much cheaper. They could make that hamburger much, much cheaper. We need to start looking at all these different factors, but you yourself need to start recognizing what are the enemies to health and what you need to do about it and how you need to be able to start eating properly. Now here's a list of the different foods that will build back your bowel flora. These are very good, and it starts with cabbage. It starts with the probiotic compounds. It starts with a host of these other things that you build into your diet, and you throw away all that sugar juice and the sugar drinks, and you get good, solid, 100% fruit juices. Then when you take them home, you dilute them to taste. They're always too strong. You could dilute them at least 50-50, sometimes 1/3. 1/3 juice to 2/3 water. And you can find the right flavor for you and gradually take it down a little bit as you need more and more water and less of the juice. And thereby you can stop the generation of all that different fat from the fructose from those juices. As this all works through, you can start to find the right way to be and the right way to clean your body and the right way to approach healthcare. This is the Lessons from Immune. I hope that you've learned something in today and open up the books and learn a lot more. Desiree Dubonnet signing off.